Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching us. This is the SEDAT HR Digest brought to you by SEDAT Consult Limited. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome, and we hope that you enjoy today's conversation. And if this is you're joining us for a number of time. You've been here severally. We are glad to have you here again. Make sure that you share the link on your platforms to have others join in today's conversation. Once again, the SEDAT HR Digest is brought to you by SEDAT Consult Limited, your trusted HR partner. At SEDAT Consult, we help you focus on your core business while we provide the needed support throughout the life cycle of your workforce. If you are looking out for support in terms of talent acquisition and recruitment, if you're looking out for support in terms of training and development, payroll outsourcing, staff and service outsourcing, compensation and benefit management, you can reach out to SEDAT Consult and we will provide these services to enable you take your organization to where it ought to be. Right. Today's conversation is quite an interesting one, and you want to make sure you don't miss any bit of it. Have your questions ready as we have our speaker joining us so that you can ask him questions right when he's through with his presentation. All right, so our conversation today, we will be looking at the journey of our speaker in terms of how and the lessons that he has had from money. So we themed this episode "Money Lessons from My Career Journey," and yes, who is our speaker and what wealth of wisdom is he bringing on board? So briefly, I'll just read out his profile. Um, he's a chartered accountant and member of ICAG with a strong background in both finance and law, currently in the final year of the professional law course. He also holds a BSc in engineering from 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐻 and an executive MBA in banking and finance from France. He's a certified expert in microfinance from Frankfurt, Germany, and has additional certifications in project management, public relations, and strategic marketing. With 19 years of experience in banking and microfinance, he specializes in regulatory compliance and financial management and serves on several boards and national committees in the financial sector. We are going to have a very interesting conversation with Mr. Tweneboah Kodua Boakye. He'll be joining us briefly, but hey, if you are watching us, share the link on your platforms. Let's have others join us. And in the comment section, we want to know who you are and where you are watching us from. We're always glad to know our audience. So let us know in the comment section what your name and where you are watching us from. Mr. Tweneboah Kodua Boakye, so glad to have you here. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. The
I
floor
hope you
is
can
so
hear me well.
loud and clear.
Great, 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 great. So, good afternoon to everyone, and it's great being here at SEDAT Consult. I've known SEDAT Consult for some time now, and they have been doing well. So, I will recommend them to you. So, today, we are looking at some of the lessons that I've learned over the period in my career. And as she rightly said, I started off as a science student. I went to KNUST, read engineering. I passed well. It was time for me to go and do my national service, and I had opportunity to go into, I actually read geodetic engineering, and I had opportunity to go into the mining or to go into Air Force. And by some divine interventions, I ended up as a teaching assistant. I was called by the school to be a teaching assistant because I wanted to advance in the engineering. Fast forward, I ended up accepting a particular job in Accra, which at the time in 2007, after my national service, was paying me 200 cedis. 200 cedis a month at the time. And I remember my father asked me the question, are you sure you want to do this job? And I said, yes, I want to do it because I want to gain some experience. And that is the number one lesson I learned about money. That is the number one lesson I learned about money. Sometimes you do not take up certain role or have certain jobs done because the money is big or because the money is small, but you need to have a reason for taking up certain appointment. After 2 months, 3 months into the job, I got another job at Barclays Bank. Now, here's the case. I was receiving 200 cedis, and the first pay that I was given at the time, 2007, at the bank was 900 cedis. So you can imagine from 200 cedis per month to 900 cedis. And that is one of the lessons that I want everybody to learn, that in our career, we will have to start somewhere and you will be growing along the line. So this afternoon, I want to share with you some of my early career lessons, and then I will move on to the growth aspect, how I grew it, and then some financial discipline and personal management decisions that I needed to take along the line. What are some of the investments and wealth building strategies that one needs to build along the line? What are some of the values one needs to have, and also what are some of the mindsets that you need to change? Then I have some other things that we need to learn along the line. Along the line, I have also engaged with the rich, the wealthy. And by my work, I engage with these people. And I'll be sharing some of the lessons that I've learned from them, which normally they will not share in the public. I'll be sharing some of them with you. And so, journey with me, and I want to express my appreciation to SEDAT Consult for giving us the opportunity to learn today. I also want to appreciate you joining us today to share ideas and also to grow together. We want to see ourselves at the top, not really one person. And then I'll wrap it up so that you could have opportunity to ask questions. So what is the number one lesson that I have learned along the journey? I told you my salary of 200 cedis now became 900 cedis. And that is the first salary that touches your hands. You see your smoothness level. Somebody who has gone to school. At the time, national service was being paid, I think, around 80 cedis or 70 cedis. And I got the opportunity to also have another engagement with Coca-Cola, which was also paying me 150 cedis at the time. So you have completed school, you were taking 150 cedis plus this 80 cedis. Now your first real job, you have 200 cedis. Now these 200 cedis, even if it were to come in full, that would have been something else. There you realize that the salary that was promised is not the full money. And that is the next lesson that you learn, that you go for any negotiation, you go for any discussion, or you get a call, say, how much will you pay me? You say, I'll pay you 2,500. And then the month comes, the first salary touches your hands, and it is 1,900. Where is the 600? There you realize that the 600 is from deductions, taxes, and those things, and your pensions and the rest. So it teaches you that this money that has come to your hands is not all that you were expecting. The next lesson that it teaches you is that when the first money touches your hands, that you will see that you have other responsibilities to bear. At first, you were not paying anything in the house. At first, somebody was feeding you. Now you are receiving salary. Now you are receiving some money. If you are doing your own business, now you have received money. And therefore, other responsibilities comes to play. So bear in mind that. The second lesson is that there is a difference between earning money and also managing the money. They are two different concepts. Earning the money and managing the money. They are two different things. The earlier you get to know that these things are not the same, the better it is for you in terms of your financial arrangements. Because you see that some people still have money, they have big salaries, they have big income, but they are unable to manage these funds well. And you will realize that most of the people, and I had worked in the banking space, I worked in the microfinance, I ran it, and I am still in the space. So I see people who borrow. And you will realize that most often people who borrow and do not pay, if there is any banker here or anybody working in the financial system, you realize they are the security forces, people who work in the security services. Why? They get money often. If you work in the army, you are paid short times. You're able to go on missions. You see money often. The other people who do not pay, pastors, they borrow, they don't pay on time. The other people, politicians, the other people that I have seen are bankers, people who work in the banking space. Normally, they don't honor their obligations. These things are not coincidental. It's about culture. It's about the fact that they see money often. People who see money often, if there are certain things that are not in their lives, you see them mismanaging that. So financial management requires that you budget, you have to go do planning, you need to be disciplined, and you need to set your priorities right. So as I received my initial monies, these were things that I was battling with. These were the things that I was battling with. The next thing that I learned along the line has to do with the fact that most professionals are financially unprepared. Despite the fact that they receive good salaries, they receive good income from whatever they are doing. One needs to prepare for whichever money that is to come to their hands. Prepare and plan ahead. Otherwise, the money will plan for you. Otherwise, the money will plan for you. Then, so you see that income without structures will create financial vulnerability. The money will vanish like wildfire. It will just vanish. You will not see it. The next lesson that I have also seen along the line is what we call lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation. Most people, when they get money, when they begin getting money, they themselves inflate their lives. They themselves change the food they eat. It's just like the the normal thing we normally say that when the account man gets money, the first thing he does is to marry new wife. Most people, when they begin getting money, then they inflate their lives. What do we mean by lifestyle inflation? You see that there is this kind of temptation that you need to upgrade your phone. If you were using iPhone 5, then 6 has come, you have to go. The following year, you have to go 8, you have to go 10, 15, 17, Pro. You yourself, you are pressuring your life. You are using Toyota Corolla, which is good. Now you begin to get money, you have to now change your car overnight. We create unnecessary pressure for ourselves. And that is one of the biggest lessons that I learned along the line, that you don't have to create lifestyle inflation. You need to learn how to increase your investments before you increase your lifestyle. Increase investments before you increase your lifestyle. What was the fourth lesson? There is this issue that you need to delay gratification in your career. Sometimes I remember when I started getting this money and I said, no, then I need car. Somebody working in a bank, I need car. But I didn't have the money to buy a new car. I went to buy some old Opel Calibra. And I remember even the person who sold it to me told me that, 𝐀𝐿𝐻𝐸, now that you have bought the car, bear in mind that it has become your baby, that you need to take care of it. I didn't understand until the vehicle started giving me problems. Even what you have to eat, you have to use to service the vehicle. So why should you have a vehicle if you did not have the means to? Eventually, I had to give that vehicle to somebody. I had to, because it was troubling me. So you need to weigh the option. Is it time for you to acquire this particular item, or it can wait? You need to look at how to weigh it. Sometimes you need to actually go for a pay cut. I was working in an environment where I didn't have the opportunity to even do what I was passionate about. And I had to get a pay cut to do the work that I was passionate about doing. And I became very, very comfortable, and I grew it from there. I had the opportunity to build myself. And the place that I was not even being recognized. Now I go there and they recognize my value. So sometimes if you have to get a pay, you go for pay cuts, you need to do it. The next lesson has to do with the issue of peer pressure. The issue of peer pressure, which affects our financial decision. Sometimes you yourself, you know it is not time for you to acquire certain things. It's not time for you to do certain things. But because of peer pressure, because of the environment you find yourself in, because of the class you find yourself in, because of the friends you make, why, if you don't have the money to maintain an iPhone, why should you be using an iPhone 16 and asking for somebody for 100 cedis to buy food? That's a shame. You can't be using iPhone 16 or iPhone 17 and be asking for somebody for 50 cedis to buy credit. Live your life according to your level. The next thing that I want to touch on is how poor financial habits can destroy careers. I have seen a number of people whose careers have ended. I remember when I was managing this financial institution, there were some people who came for loan, and eventually we had to report them to their superiors because they were bedridden, debt-ridden, just debt all over. And people were chasing them. Some people too, because of bad financial decision, they had to be corrupt. Most corruption that you see around us because of bad decisions, financial indiscipline. So if you have financially indiscipline, what it could create is that you have a lot of debt on your hands. It leads you into stress. you can have poor decisions, and it can even damage your reputation. Sometimes your career can even collapse. Some people don't even know how to save small for a bigger thing. When we were young, we were told that if you want to do anything, save small, like do the susu. How many people even have susu box? I have a susu box. I still have the susu box. When I move out, I come in and I have any coins, I don't just put it anywhere. There are some people, you enter their rooms, you find coins all over under the bed and in their couches and everywhere. You see mine, I'll put it in the susu box. Every year, I will do parties. And what I do is this susu that I do. I go and come, I have 10 cedis, I put it in. I have 15 cedis, I have 5 cedis, I have 2 cedis, I have 1 cedi, I have 50 pesos. I'll put them in like that. At the end of the year, I'll open it up and it's able to let me enjoy. You too, you can try it. These were some of the things that I learned from the early parts of my career. Now, let's look at as we were growing. Then you'll see that the next thing that you'll be learning has to do with the importance of multiple streams of income. No one single income will be able to sustain you for life or make you live reasonable life. Ask yourself, if today what you are doing cuts, what else can you get? So the opportunity of having multiple streams of income is very, very important. You could be laid off from your work due to health. I know somebody who for the past 6 months, because of his health, has not been able to go to work. So these are some of the things. So additional income streams will provide you with the security and the flexibility you are looking for. The next thing is you need to learn how to negotiate, negotiation skills. You need to learn how to negotiate. When you are on the table for, say, salary negotiation, for fee negotiation, you are having a contract, you are having any business deal, learn how to negotiate. Negotiation is a skill that must be learned. Because you may be in the same office with somebody on the same grade, but the person has better remuneration and better condition of service than you. Again, to those who are involved in labor negotiations, labor unions and those things, I always tell people that when you are negotiating with your board or with management or anybody, don't dwell too much on the allowances. I know a certain sector in Ghana here that you will see that when they are going for negotiation, it's all about the allowances. It's about the allowances. No, don't forget that in Ghana here, our pension structure is based on your basic salary. So if you are a labor union or anybody going for negotiation, push more of the basic salary. The better your basic salary, the better you have pensions, the better your retirement package will be. Because of the 3-tier pension scheme we have in Ghana, and you are negotiating, you need to ask yourself, is it the basic or the total package? You may be fine today, but at your retirement, you may suffer. Learn how to negotiate well and know what to negotiate on. Know when to say yes and know when to say no. It is a skill. And there are people who have the skill to help us do this. The next thing is that choose learning opportunities over immediate money. Sometimes you need to, just as I said, that I took up the opportunity of the 200 salary so that I could learn certain things for a bigger opportunity. Long-term value matters more than short-term income. There are some people, they don't have the patience to wait. They don't have the patience to learn. Let's learn and become better. And these are things that are going to affect your finances. The next thing that I learned has to do with relationship between competence and financial growth. You see that the marketplace actually reward value. The market will reward value. It is not just what you say you have, but even what you have, who knows it? I always tell people that we have moved from the era of who you know. It is gone forever. Who you know is gone. It is about who knows you and knows what you have. Because when somebody is in need of an accountant, will you come to their mind? If somebody needs somebody to fix their pipes or to fix their electrical faults at home, or to help somebody teach their words at home, will you come to their mind? If somebody needs a shrewd business person, a shrewd marketing person, a good HR, a good compliance person, will you come to the person's mind? So now, competence is very important. You remember the Bible, David had been a bear slayer on the desert when he was taking care of his father's sheep. Joseph was able to interpret a dream to the person who he was in the prison with. And because of this, that person now told the king or the pharaoh that I know somebody who can interpret dreams. What do people know you know? The Bible says that a man's gift will make way for him before kings. A man's gift will let him stand in front of kings. What will people call you for? Do they just know that you are always on TikTok and you know how to shake your body? Or they know you that you are somebody who is unwealthy, somebody they cannot trust? What do people know you for? The next thing that I have seen along the line has to do with networking, the influence and the effect of networking. Most of my jobs have been recommendation by people. What network are you keeping? You need to be visible as well. There are a lot of things that we have learned along the line. Now, because of time, let me use the opportunity to share some other things that I have seen along the line. If you even want to engage in real estate, would you want to build and sell, or you want to build and rent it out? And if you are letting it out, then you need to know the intricacies in renting out your property. You need to learn the attitude that tenants will have on certain property. And so it means that you need to learn from the experts. We need to also learn how to diversify our investments. Apart from diversification, another thing that I have learned along the line has to do with the issue of understanding the investment you want to go into. Many people make mistakes in their investments. Please, if you don't understand the business you are going in, don't go. Take time to learn the basics. You may not learn all the things, but the basics in that business, learn it. Don't go in because people are going in. And I remember when we completed school, we were a group of young people, and we saw in the early 2000s, those of you who know Kumasi well, there's this business, check. Now we call it fried rice business. Those days, check was a big business. Everybody was going in, and we went in without learning the tricks. We lost our money, basa. So please, sometimes too, when you fail, don't let it kill you. When you fail, let it teach you the essence of being cautious. Let it teach you the essence of being patient and the essence of being having due diligence in whatever you want to do. When we fail, understand the investment before you commit money to it. Understand the investment. There's also this danger of getting rich quick. Get rich quick mentality. Please, there is no shortcut to wealth creation that you will not bear the consequence. Today, it may be a shortcut, but you will bear the consequence if you do not follow the principles. Everything has principles. God gives wealth to those who follow the principles of wealth creation. Maybe before I go into the last session that I promised you about, the things I've learned from the rich, maybe let me mention some of these 4 or 5 things. 1, what if your family members or friends are requesting loan from you? It's one of the biggest decisions that every person will have to make along the line. When your best friend, your friends come to say, please, can you lend me 2,000 cedis? I'll give it to you at the end of the month. You ask yourself the question, if the person is not able to pay me the money, will I be able to ignore it? Or I cannot ignore. Will you want to keep your friendship, or you want to destroy and keep the money? Ask yourself these questions. So most often, I will give what I can afford to lose as a gift. If you bring it back, next time you ask, you get. But if I lose, you come again, I ignore you. So you need to ask yourself these things. The next thing has to do with the concept of luck and strategy. Some people say luck. I am not lucky. I am not lucky. Please. Luck can place you somewhere. But what you need to know is that strategy will let you show up prepared all the time. Ask yourself, are you prepared if you are asked what you can do? If today we ask you that, oh, come see me, what can you do? What will you be able to show? Where do you even spend your time? Those are some important things that you need to bear in mind. Then the next thing has to do with retirement without sacrificing today. Take advantage of the 3-tier pension scheme Ghana has. The one that need to pay you, that is the annuity, the monthly allowance, will not do you anything. Again, the tier 2 that you have, do you even know whether your employers are paying it? If you are also an employer, please, if you are not paying it, that is sin. I will say first, it's sinful. If you go to church or you go to mosque, it's sinful if you are not paying your employees pension. Again, if you don't go and check and you retire, you will not get the benefits. The tier 3 is voluntary. If you can do even personal pension, do it. There are some of the corporate trustees who have easy way of even letting you buy personal pension and my own pension and all those things. If you go to the MTN app, the *170, go to pension, you will see some of them there. Take advantage of automation, like standing orders, very important. The next thing is financial literacy. Get to know, please. Learn. It is not only in school, it's not only in classroom. Spend time to learn. Then the last part I want to talk about here is relocation analysis. What does it mean? There are some people who were paying affect your health, it could affect your water, it could affect your security, it could affect your health, your child care, and a whole lot of things. So before you relocate to a place where you are paying lesser rent, ask yourself these questions. Let me give you only about 5 lessons from the rich I have learned. Time is not our friend. And one of the things that the rich know is that they build wealth on other people's money. They build wealth on other people's money. The second thing I've learned from the rich is that they have safety nets. They understand the concept of safety net. What do I mean? I beg you. You see, the rich man's child has more probability of becoming rich if they continue with the tradition and the strategy they teach them. But if you misbehave, you will lose it. So I can't say when you are born and placed on a certain higher level, you start ahead of your peers. Now the rich, they know that when I try and I even mess up, I will not go hungry. I will not sleep naked. I have something to fall on. This doesn't mean you can't succeed if you don't have that. It means you need to acknowledge that your path might be slower. And that's okay. Don't compare your beginning with anyone else's middle beginning. I beg you, just acknowledge that. The next thing that I learned from them is tax avoidance. The rich, they know how to avoid tax. Pay attention. I didn't say tax evasion. I said tax avoidance. Managing your affairs so that you pay less tax or you don't pay the tax legally. So employ the right people who will help you do that. Employ the right people who will help you do that. The next thing I've seen about the rich is that they create networking. They see networking as a currency. So they make sure that they create good network. Do you even pay money to belong to groups. They pay money to attend certain exclusive events. And these people, if they see that you are not somebody who will help them add value to their lives, they cut you off. I am not saying that cut off your childhood friends, but be honest. Who are the 5 people in your life that you normally spend your time with? Do they challenge you to do things right? Do they introduce you to opportunities? Or do they just complain about how hard life is? Your network shapes your net worth. So choose wisely. The rich sometimes also let money sit idle on purpose. Pay attention. You see, we have always been told, sometimes you need to have liquid funds. Don't invest all your money. Have some cash somewhere. Have liquid funds somewhere. If it is fixed deposit, keep it somewhere. Don't say that let all your money work. So any little money you have, then you go and buy blocks, go and buy land, go and do. No. Sometimes an opportunity will come your way, such that the one who has money immediately gets that opportunity. Haven't we seen on a number of occasions where people are going on this pilgrimage, Hajj, and they need to pay, and so they are selling their car at a discount or their land at a discount. They are getting what they want. That is what they cherish. Some people believe that if I go for this pilgrimage and I even die, I am going, my soul is saved. So they don't mind selling their assets at any cost. Are you ready to take that one? Or to even support? The next thing is that they negotiate. The rich, they negotiate for everything. Next time when somebody gives you a price, ask this simple question: is that your best price? Just wait for the person to respond, and it will shock you what they will say. The next thing that I have seen about the rich is that time is more valuable than money. Time is more valuable than money. Do you know that instead of you see, you need to do some cleaning, you need to do some work. It will take you 2 hours. And when you calculate your earnings, every 2 hours, every 1 hour, you get 100 cedis. So 2 hours, you get 200 cedis. Now, this person can do the work for you for the 2 hours, and you pay the person 100 cedis. Pay that 100 cedis and use the 2 hours to generate additional money. Time is more valuable. You see, money can be lost and gotten back, but time lost cannot be gotten back. So this is one of the key things. Stop being a hero of do it yourself. It's not everything that you should do it yourself. Sometimes let other people do it for you and use your time for more productive things. It could be that you are studying. Use your time to study. Pay somebody to do the other work for you so that you can study to enrich yourself. Maybe because of the time, I will end here and tell you one of the things that I've learned from the rich. 2 things. It will surprise you. The rich, they marry strategically. I said what? They marry strategically. You know that there are some people in town that they divorced, and that divorce is costing them big time. Why? They didn't marry well. I am not saying go and divorce. I beg you. I have not said that, and I wouldn't say that. But before you marry, before you engage yourself in any relationship, be strategic. I am not saying that go and marry for money. I haven't said that too. But be wise. The rich also have what they call exploit information asymmetry. They pay people who are experts to give them information. So before the information comes to the public, they have already gotten the info and have put their house in order such that they will be fine when even calamity comes. The last one I want to leave with you is reputation is very important in your life. Reputation. The rich check what they put out in the public. Their public life is different from their private life. Please check what you say outside. There are some people whose future has ended from today because of the kind of postings they have put on the internet, the kind of messages or language they have used out there. These are some of the things that we need to be mindful of. Thank you very much. I know we cannot finish with all these lessons. Go and do all the things, but pick some of them and ask yourself, can I start? It is better to start one than not to do anything. Thank you very much. Any question? Any question? Supernatural, are you there? We cannot. Yes, Supernatural, are you there? We cannot hear you.
Hello, hello, hello. Can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Great. I'd been speaking all the while. Mr. That's some wealth of wisdom you just shared. I have so many points written down here. If you're just joining us, please make sure that you go back to the very beginning of this session. And if you've been with us, we want to see some of the insights you've had from the session in the comments section. I see Pearl watching from Mataheko. Pearl, we are so glad you joined today's session, and we hope that you've received so much insights from the conversation and presentation by Mr. Tweneboah. And I see Solomon Donko Kwame says, great presentation. Just preparing a similar presentation for the Ghanaian community here in Angola. Great insights. Yes, really great insights. Mr. Chunibo, during the presentation, you spoke about failures, not looking at failures as the end, but then picking lessons from our failures. I want you to share with us briefly your biggest financial mistake, right from you beginning your career, and what did that teach you?
Hmm. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Yes. The biggest one. Do I even know the biggest? because I continue to have I continue to have some failures. But one of them had to do with the vehicle that I bought. That vehicle, that somebody's vehicle that I bought when I didn't have the money to even maintain it.
Yeah.
And I had to eventually give it out. Yes. And again, another lesson had to do with you not getting expert advice before you take any major decision. And
Right.
most people in Ghana today, they hear people say there's opportunity, they want to jump in, especially buying of assets. For instance, you want to buy a land. Immediately you hear they are selling this land here, then quickly you just want to buy. Please, I beg, seek expert advice. Will always try to say, before I sign this contract, let me talk to my lawyers. You cannot pay for a lawyer, but you have a friend who is a lawyer, and you have this contract. Give it to the person. Use your network. Don't be a hero of I'll do everything myself. Sometimes pay something small for somebody, and you'll be happy you did.
Right. This response actually answers my next question to you. But aside seeking for advice, what would you say can help professionals distinguish between genuine investments and opportunities and schemes that simply promise quick returns? Yeah.
So they always say that when it is too good, then you have to be suspicious. In Ghana here and everywhere, whenever you want to buy any investment or you want to buy into anything, ask yourself, what will they use the money for to generate the returns that they are promising you?
Right.
If somebody says, I will give you 5% per month on your on interest as your investment, ask yourself, what they have to do something that will give them about 10 or 15% per month, so they can give you that 5% per month, because they too have to pay themselves and get more as profit. So check these things. Again, it is not always enough for you to be referred to by a friend. Check whether it is licensed. If it is licensed, check whether you understand that particular investment. These are
Right.
things that will help you.
Amazing insights from you today. All too soon, we are coming to the end of today's episode. So I'll come back to you for your last words. Once again, if you are joining us, this is SEDAT HR Digest brought to you by SEDAT Consult Limited, your trusted HR partner. And today's conversation has been about money lessons from the career journey of our speaker today. Once again, we are always glad to have you here and always we want to get to know where you're watching us from in our comment section. Now, if you're looking out for services in terms of recruitment and talent acquisition, in terms of training and development, in terms of payroll outsourcing, service and staff outsourcing, compensation and benefit benchmarking, event management, you can reach out to SEDAT Consult and we will provide these services for you. All too soon, we are wrapping up, and at this point, I would want to have the final words from our speaker, Mr. Tweneboah. So, what's that last word you want to leave with them? If someone didn't hear anything at all, what's that one last word you want them to go home with?
I want to thank everybody who has joined, and you can go back to the website of SEDAT, follow their handles, and listen to what we have learned today. Today, we have shared some of the hard lessons that I have personally gone through, and those I've learned from other people, and also
Right.
from the rich. What makes the rich rich? Um, Information is very important. Ask yourself, what do people also know? I know, not which people I know, but what other people know I can do. Sell yourself, and reputation is very important. Be honest. Be honest with people. Be honest with money. Respect money. When you are honest, you are credible, you are trustworthy, people will give you opportunity to do certain things. There are a lot of young people today, they are not able to get what they are looking for because they are not being honest. Honesty is very important, and let us strive to build our knowledge, build our capacity, and I am sure we will all be at the top one day. Thank you very much and have a good Sunday.
Thank you so much. And let me just say one of the points that you mentioned. He says, prepare for every money that comes into your hands, else that money will do the planning for you. Thank you so much, Mr. Tweneboah. We are so glad to have you here. And SEDAT HR Digest holds every Sunday at 4 p.m. We look forward to having you join us in our next episode for a very insightful and impactful conversation. See you next Sunday at 4 p.m.